Now on CoastTV News.
Theater talks return.
Trying to be very thoughtful about what this region is going to need.
The initiative in Rehoboth Beach to keep clear space in the city, what is getting reviewed today by the mayor and commissioners. Seasonal soaring starts, the prime spot on the Broadkill River to get a glimpse of birds making a stop on their migration.
Good Monday morning, Delmarva. Seeing some patchy fog out there this morning. Temperatures 50s and 60s. A magnificent Monday. Sunny skies, highs around 80, but a midweek soaker. I'll have details ahead.
Curtain on country calling.
3 days of great country music. I'm loving it all.
The big weekend music event wrapped up in Ocean City last night.
This is CoastTV News Today.
It is Monday, October 6, 2025. Good morning. I'm Matt Pensick. Elisa Weber has the day off, and thank you for being up with us during this 5 o'clock hour. First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono joins us right now with a look at First Alert weather. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Matt. It was an absolutely spectacular weekend weather-wise. We had plenty of sunshine out there. We're going to continue that sunshine through the day today, but we're dealing with some patchy fog this morning. As we take a live look into Salisbury, you can see that patchy fog there in the distance. 52 degrees, dew point 54. Winds are relatively calm. We're down to 0 mild visibility there in Cambridge, right through the Delaware-Maryland border there through Salisbury and Ocean City, Georgetown, down to a 1/4 mile visibility. So use some caution out there this morning. We're generally in the 50s with the exception of the coast where we're seeing temperatures in the low 60s at this hour. 54 Georgetown to 60 Bethany Beach. Winds are relatively calm, skies are clear, so we're seeing some of that radiational fog develop across the area this morning. Still under the influence of high pressure. That high is just off to our southeast, so we're seeing more of a south to southwesterly influence. So that's going to allow for a little bit more humidity to roll back into the picture today through Tuesday, but we stay dry, stay beautiful. It's Wednesday, we're tracking rain, and that rain could be heavy at times with a cold front, and then a late fall chill, late week. Some of the coolest air we've seen so far this season. So temperatures in the 50s to start with patchy fog. Take your time out there heading to the bus stop and to school, but plenty of sunshine once that fog burns off through the afternoon, and a beautiful day with highs around 80 degrees. We'll talk more about that rain coming in midweek, and some really nice cool temperatures late week. We'll talk more about it coming up in the full 70 forecast. Matt.
All right, thank you, Chris. And as he just told us, fog is in play this morning. Here's a live look at Salisbury University, and you can see a little bit of fog in this image here. Most of what we are seeing is inland from the coast. So let's look at Dewey Beach. This was moments ago, and you can see not a fog situation downtown Dewey Beach. This is checking out Route 1 and Bellevue Street. It's an area that's only a few blocks wide between the Atlantic Ocean and Rehoboth Bay. Our top story this hour is the effort in Rehoboth Beach to keep the Clear Space Theater in the city. You're looking at its current location on Baltimore Avenue. A proposed partnership between the city and the theater is up for review today. It includes a new location at the current Cape Henlopen Senior Center. Clear Space would lease the land for $1 a year. Rehoboth Beach would contribute $1 million to Clear Space's capital campaign and waive permit fees, and the city would get revenue through ticket prices and parking. And for those who are not familiar where the Cape Henlopen Senior Center is, the location lies on Christian Street. It's between the Avenue and Philadelphia Street. The Senior Center already has plans to move out of town to Hebron Road. In April, we spoke with Clear Space about their plans to move the theater, and Wade moved to Lewis.
Trying to be very thoughtful about what this region is going to need, not just tomorrow or in 5 years, but in 25 or 35 years, because what we build, we're going to build to be sustainable for the long term.
And Rehoboth Beach Mayor Stan Mills and city commissioners are meeting just a few hours from now at 9 a.m. to discuss this and other topics. Things to know, this new partnership comes just a few years after Clear Space tried to build a new theater on Rehoboth Avenue. It was 4 years of back and forth with the city over approvals and denials and reversals of decisions. Clear Space even filed a lawsuit that was eventually dropped, as were plans for the new theater on the avenue. That is a lot now becoming mixed-use buildings. We have a whole article on this proposal for Clear Space, and you can see that right now on CoastTV.com. Also happening today in Rehoboth Beach, the city is expected to review over $21 million bid for improvements to the wastewater treatment plant. It's in the final phase of what's been a multi-year upgrade process expected to last almost 15 years before more work is needed. Sussex County will cover 2/3 of the cost based on wastewater flows. City officials warn that sewer rates may increase to cover these costs. In Milton tonight, the future makeup of the town council could change. That's what's getting a look at. Mayor John Collier and the 6 council members are expected to review a presentation on creating town council districts. Now, most southern Delaware communities do not have this type of structure. Milford is an exception. They have 4 wards. A vote on new districts could happen at the 6:30 p.m. Milton Town Council meeting. Happening in Ocean City, the town moved forward with several projects after a second reading of an ordinance tonight that includes a 14-straight generator for the water department and fleet and garage renovations, also a boardwalk sign. The second reading of the ordinance is scheduled for the mayor and council meeting at 6 p.m. with a general obligation municipal purpose bonds not to exceed $52 million. Now taking a live look at Ocean City, Ferris wheel in the background, and visitors preparing to leave the beach today after the Country Calling Music Festival. That brought in locals and tourists alike to the beach to hear some country music all weekend long. Headliners included Carrie Underwood, Luke Bryan, and Luke Combs. And one festival goer we spoke with said he enjoyed hearing new artists this weekend.
3 days of great country music. I'm loving it all. I've been very impressed by the talent that they have brought in here. Some guys that I've never heard of that I will definitely be downloading some of their songs.
Yeah, it's estimated that the 3-day event generated around $150 million for the town. New this morning, as the weather cools down, birds migration begins in the McCabe Preserve. That's just outside of Milton, and it's where many watchers go to see the shorebirds and songbirds move to their next destination. The preserve says that over 100 bird species get observed along its 143 acres.
McCabe Preserve is a local birding hotspot and a great place to come observe fall migration. We have a high diversity of bird species that utilize this preserve because we have a lot of different habitat types occurring here.
Approximately 1 mile of the Broadkill River borders the preserve, making it a popular hotspot for canoers and kayakers. Rehoboth Beach police continuing to investigate the cause of this fire on Sunday. Firefighters say it happened in the Bay Vista neighborhood. The Rehoboth Beach Volunteer Fire Company says around 5:30 p.m. they arrived to this mobile home that was engulfed in flames. That structure is a total loss. Firefighters said the man who lived there got out. No one was hurt, but some neighboring structures were also damaged. And we're now taking a live look. We're back at Ocean City, but let's now go to Washington, D.C. Right there, you can see the blame game over the government shutdown taking center stage on the Sunday shows, with leaders pointing the fingers at each other as negotiations have stalled. New overnight, this as many federal workers face losing their jobs as the shutdown continues. NBC's Alice Barr shows us the reaction to this and how several governors are pushing back against possible National Guard deployment in their states.
President Trump's push to send National Guard troops into more American cities facing new pushback. In Portland, Oregon overnight, where protests are underway, a federal judge blocked the Trump administration's move to send National Guard troops from California or any other state into the city. California's governor celebrating the order, writing, quote, "Trump's abuse of power won't stand." That follows a separate ruling blocking the deployment of 200 Oregon National Guard soldiers to Portland.
I appointed the judge, and he goes like that, so I wasn't served well. Portland is burning to the ground.
Portland police say the protests there have been contained to a single block. While in Chicago, the Trump administration ordering 300 National Guard troops into the city, making good on weeks of threats over the Illinois governor's objections.
They want to create the war zone so that they can send in even more troops.
Republican leaders rejecting that.
U.S. military, Mr.
I don't
Speaker.
think you should ask the governor. I think you should ask the citizens who are in fear for their lives and livelihoods in these cities.
Citing recent attacks on ICE officers, including this, the Department of Homeland Security says happened Saturday in Chicago, a black SUV repeatedly slamming a truck with ICE agents inside, all as the federal government shutdown stretches into its 6th day, with President Trump warning mass layoffs of federal workers are coming.
I call them Democrat layoffs.
We tried to get President Trump to sit down with us weeks ago.
Negotiations at a standstill, with military service members among the thousands working without pay. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
This just in, slowing down in Selbyville. Later today, the town council will discuss a number of issues, and one of those is speed limits. According to the agenda, they will consider setting the limit for all developments. This is taking place tonight at 6 p.m. at the Selbyville Town Hall. Happening tonight, Game 2 of the National League Divisional Series. Phillies will attempt to even their best-of-5 affair against the Dodgers. Phils could not build upon a 3-0 lead on Saturday in losing Game 1. First pitch at the park scheduled for 6:08. And we're just getting started in this hour on Coast TV News Today. Coming up, Coastal Project Showcase, the new tools that are helping experts analyze and protect our environment. Also, Land Use Group gathers results. We'll tell you some of the changes locals are recommending to Sussex County Council after months-long research. And USPS Holiday Hike. What products at the U.S. Postal Service you can expect to cost more? All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
Good Monday morning, Delmarva. If you're feeling a little sluggish this morning, we have some beautiful weather ahead of us today, and we're going to continue that sunshine we had over the weekend into our day today. We're at 60 right now in Dover. Winds about 7 miles an hour. We are seeing some fog across the area, so use some caution this morning. Visibility is anywhere between about a quarter to half a mile across much of southern Sussex County. Right now we're holding at 51 Long Neck, 62 Rehoboth to 54 in Georgetown. High pressure still dominating our weather pattern here today, so we're going to see plenty of sunshine after some morning fog. Along the coast will be generally in the mid to upper 70s, approaching that 80-degree mark, and we have a pretty cool moon tonight. Harvest moon. It's the first of 3 supermoons to round out 2025, and that name is given to the farmers would use the moon for light to do farming in the wee hours of the morning, and that moon is going to appear bigger and brighter tonight. So check out that supermoon later on this evening, and we should have some really nice conditions to view it. We are going to be talking about some rain midweek. We'll talk more about it, how much rain we can expect to see coming up in that full 7-day forecast. Matt.
Thank you, Chris. On your screen right now is the intersection of Deer Forest Road and Macaulay's Chapel Road in Georgetown. It's currently a 2-way stop, but according to DelDOT, not for long. The department says it's converting to an all-way stop, and DelDOT says work is scheduled to start there on October 7th. Delaware DMV says you don't have to go to the DMV for everything you need. The DMV On-the-Go trailer has a number of services like address changes and completing title work. It's available from 10 to 2. Monday, it's at the Lewis Transit Center. Tuesday, Milton Cheer. Thursday at Harbor Freight in Seaford. The Delaware Division of Public Health's mobile health unit is rolling into Sussex County this week, offering flu shots, testing for diabetes, and more. The unit is free. The agency says translators are available, and the unit is at the Milford Public Library on Tuesday and the Georgetown Recovery Hub on Wednesday from 10 to 3. Sending some stuff in the mail will soon cost you a little bit more. Starting next week, the United States Postal Service is boosting its prices for the 2025 holiday season. Officials say these adjustments are needed to help deal with the extra handling expenses that come during this busier than usual time of year. Priority Mail Express, Priority Mail, Ground Advantage, and Parcel Select, they are all affected. Cracker Barrel confirms that it has cut ties with the design firm behind its disastrous logo change. Cracker Barrel hired the San Francisco-based design firm Profits to help refresh its brand. The changes included ditching the iconic man in the overalls and the barrel from its logo, but they quickly reversed course following online backlash and reverted back to their previous logo.
Well, we're being greeted by some fog and temperatures in the 50s and 60s this Monday morning, but if you're not, plenty of sunshine this morning through the afternoon. Temperatures right around 80 degrees this afternoon. I'll let you know how long the warm weather is going to last, and we're tracking some midweek rain. My full forecast just after the break on Coast TV News Today.
At the inlet area in Ocean City, and later on it will likely be a nice day there and other places at the beach. Temperatures, Chris, looks like they're going over the 80-degree mark today.
Yeah, we're taking that momentum we had over the weekend as far as the weather is concerned, and we're going to see some beautiful conditions today. We're going to have a little bit of everything this week. A little bit of summer to start, and then some nice fall-like temperatures to end the week. Now we're dealing with some patchy fog this morning, down to a quarter-mile visibility in Georgetown, half a mile there through Cambridge, and so those back roads, so use some caution this morning. You can see it kind of there in the distance there, that radiational fog. It formed from the ground and then pushes up into the air. We're at 57 in Milford at the moment. We're at 54 Georgetown, 52 Salisbury, 65 in Ocean City, and we're at 61 in Rehoboth Beach. Clear skies, calm winds, ripe conditions for some fog, and we're seeing a little bit of a warm air advection from the south, and that's going to allow for dew points to get back into the 60s and 70s over the next 2 days, and then a big plunge as the cold front pushes through on Wednesday. So still under the influence of high pressure. You can see pretty dry throughout much of the east. This is the cold front that's going to be pushing into our area late tomorrow night through Wednesday. As far as today is concerned, wall-to-wall sunshine after that morning fog. Highs generally in the upper 70s to right around that 80-degree mark, and then those rain chances really ramp up Wednesday. And then we cool down, dry out through midweek. Then we see a bit of uncertainty as we go into the weekend. We could be dealing with a coastal low late Saturday through Sunday. So there's the plenty of sunshine through the afternoon. Once again, tonight we fall into the mid to upper 50s. Could wake up Tuesday with some patchy fog as well, and then we're right back up near the low 80s into Tuesday. Now we're going to be sunny most of the day. It's late in the day. We see the clouds roll in. Wednesday morning, expect rain. A rainy start to your Wednesday, and that rain could be heavy at times Wednesday morning through Wednesday afternoon. Can't even rule out a rumble of thunder. Not expecting anything severe, just a good soaking of rain. And then by the afternoon, we should see that rain begin to wind down and skies gradually begin to clear. On average, about an inch of rain expected Wednesday morning through Wednesday afternoon. Could see some locally higher amounts. Now behind the front, high pressure moves in. Some of the coolest air we've seen so far this season. Highs in the low to mid 60s, overnight lows, upper 30s to 40s. Now the question is, how strong is that high pressure system, and does it block this area of low pressure that's going to form along that front? It's going to stall out over the Carolinas. Most of the models taking a coastal low up into our area late Saturday through Sunday, so we're going to have to keep a close eye on that. Could be a good soaking of rain through the weekend. 81 for your day today, a sunny, warm day. 57 overnight, clear skies with some patchy fog. And then we have one more warm day Tuesday ahead of that front with increasing clouds. A rainy day, especially through the morning and into the afternoon, and that rain should taper off through the evening on Wednesday. Behind it, look at that, highs in the mid 60s. We could even be a little cooler there on Thursday, and then watching that coastal low over the weekend, that could give us a good soaking of rain late Saturday through Sunday. Matt.
Thank you, Chris. Sussex County Council on Tuesday will hear another request relating to the North Star development. You see that area here on your screen, Route 9 and Beaver Dam Road in Lewis. Developers want to change about 13 acres of the 433-acre property into almost 100,000 square foot commercial space. The commercial component is just one part. In May, Sussex County Council approved a request to rezone part of that land for apartments. We're talking up to 94 units that are designated as affordable. The proposal for the construction of 758 homes has already gotten the green light, and some people living near this area tell us they still have concerns.
We do need affordable housing, but we also need to have the infrastructure to get people back and forth. I mean, it goes hand in hand. I mean, first you should plan the infrastructure and then do the building.
Planning and Zoning recommended approval in 2024. This commercial plan at North Star was last in front of Sussex County Council in March. At this same meeting, County Administrator Todd Lawson is set to bring the Land Use Reform Group's recommendations and report in front of the council. The goal is to change how the county handles development and growth. The group came up with 20 recommendations. They include working with DelDOT to make sure there's enough road infrastructure before new developments are built, charging developers a transportation impact fee in certain conservation areas, forest preservation, and also a master plan zoning ordinance for large-scale development.
Can't cherry pick now. This is not a menu. This is a package of recommendations.
Council will hear the recommendations and take next steps. This is expected to happen tomorrow at noon. Up next on Coast TV News Today, Coastal Project Showcase. We'll show you the impacts of the most recent major storm on our beaches. Don't go anywhere. We're back after the break. In Lewis, Coast Day featured everything from drones that monitor the seafloor to hands-on lessons about water quality. The event at the University of Delaware campus in Lewis focused on all things environment and showcasing what experts are doing to protect it. One of those projects is a drone called Wingtra. That's designed to monitor coastal environments from above, and it's been used for dredging work and to assess damage after major storms.
We're just out for Hurricane Erin, and we got some surveys before and after, and we were able to develop some models showing sediment loss and volume differences before and after that storm.
And as Coast Day continues to bring thousands of people together, this is all in the effort to protect and preserve our environment. Sunshine on this Monday, and we're working on a nice morning, Chris, if you want to take that jog on the beach or that walking your dog on the boardwalk perhaps.
Oh yeah, not too cold this morning. Temperatures are in the 50s, but we have a little bit of a mugginess to the air, and that's going to continue through the day today. But we are seeing some patchy fog, especially away from the coast. We're at 65 in Ocean City, and as we head through the morning, we're up to 71 by around your lunchtime in Ocean City. A gorgeous afternoon there in Fenwick Island after some morning fog. Moderate risk of rip currents, waves anywhere between about 2 to 3 feet. Lewis and Rehoboth, a gorgeous afternoon there, mostly sunny skies, highs reaching the lower to mid 70s this afternoon with more of a southwest wind and looking very nice along the bay as well. Cambridge, we're up to 76 by around 5, and Crisfield a little cooler with that wind coming off the bay with temperatures generally in the 70s today. Congratulations to Autumn Chalabala of Lincoln, Delaware. You're the winner of our Coast TV News weather umbrella, and you get your forecast anytime by dialing the First Alert weather phone. Coming up, we will talk about some changes to our weather coming midweek with rain and then a big late week cool down. We'll talk about it in the next half hour. Matt.
Okay, thank you, Chris. After the break on Coast TV News today, council districts considered how Milton's government structure could change going forward. Also, wind debate delay. We'll tell you what's stalling any movement on the proposed offshore wind project on Delmarva. And clear space plans. Got the possible agreement between the company and Rehoboth Beach that could see a new facility. Coast TV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on Coast TV News.
Theater Alliance. The saga of ClearSpace in Rehoboth Beach takes another turn while the theater company is now likely to remain in the city. Wind lawsuit ruling, the latest action in the efforts to build or block a wind farm off of our coast.
Good Monday morning, Delmarva. Seeing some patchy fog out there this morning. Temperatures 50s and 60s. A magnificent Monday. Sunny skies. Highs around 80. But a midweek soaker. I'll have details ahead.
Milton Division decision. How the makeup of the town's government could see a change.
This is Coast TV News Today.
October 6, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Lisa Weber is off today, and it is 5:27 a.m. We do have First Alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono with us, and he joins us now to help you prepare as you make your way out the door. Good morning, Chris.
Good Monday morning, Matt. And I'll tell you what, we're seeing some fog out there this morning across the area, primarily across Salisbury area, some patchy fog, not all that dense. That radiational fog that forms from the ground and then lifts up into the air. 52 in Salisbury, and you can see the visibility down to 0 miles there at Cambridge, right through southwestern Sussex County, right along the border there, and then we're about 4-mile visibility there in Ocean City. 52 currently in Harrington. We're at 54 Georgetown, 52 Gumboro, and we're at 60 in Bethany Beach. You can see where the winds are relatively calm, but seeing more of a flow out of the southwest, and that's going to introduce a bit more humidity to the air today as that high slides off to our southeast. So we're going to see plenty of sunshine through the day today. Warm, as I mentioned, an uptick in humidity through Tuesday. That's all ahead of a cold front that's going to be pushing in Wednesday. So we expect rain to develop late Tuesday night through Wednesday, and that rain could be heavy at times. And then we're looking at some of the coolest air so far this fall season rolling in late week, and then watching the coast late into the weekend. Could be dealing with a coastal storm that could impact parts of the area. Now, we're seeing temperatures this morning generally in the low to mid 50s with that areas of fog, but as we get into the afternoon, looking very nice with highs around 81 degrees. We'll talk more about that rain coming in on Wednesday in the full 7-day forecast. Matt.
Okay, thank you, Chris. And with fog in play, as Chris was just talking about, it appears from our cameras that we are tracking more of it's inland. This is a live look now at Ocean City at the 45th Street Tap House. You can see not a lot of fog in that situation there. But let's check out what was going on in Laurel. This was just moments ago, and you do see some fog with this situation. This is the big intersection of where Route 13 intersects with Delaware Route 4. This is what drivers in that part of Sussex County are dealing with at this time in the morning. Our top story this half hour is the effort in Rehoboth Beach to keep the ClearSpace Theater in the city. Now, you're looking at its current location on Baltimore Avenue, A proposed partnership between the city and the theater is up for review, and that's taking place today. This includes a new location at the current Cape and Lopin Senior Center, and ClearSpace would lease the land there for about $1 a year. Rehoboth Beach would contribute $1 million to ClearSpace's capital campaign, and they will waive permit fees. The city would get revenue through ticket fees and parking. For those who are not familiar where the Cape and Lopin Senior Center is, let's take a look at its location. This is Christian Street. It's between the Avenue and Philadelphia Street. The Senior Center already has plans to move out of town to Hebron Road. In April, we spoke with ClearSpace about their plans to move as the theater weighed a previous move to Lewis. Things to know, the new partnership comes just a few years after ClearSpace tried to build a new theater on Rehoboth Avenue. It was 4 years of back and forth with city approvals, denials, reversals of decisions. ClearSpace even filed a lawsuit that was eventually dropped, as were plans for the new theater on the avenue. Also happening today in Rehoboth Beach, the city is expected to review a $21.3 million bid for improvements to the wastewater treatment plant. This is the final phase of what has been a multi-year upgrade process expected to last almost 15 years before more work is needed. Sussex County will cover 2/3 of the cost based on wastewater flows. City officials warn that sewer rates may increase to cover those costs. An update on a story that we've been covering for several years now. It's the ongoing legal battle between the federal government and an offshore wind developer that wants to build off of Delmarva. The judges denied the Trump administration's motion to pause an ongoing lawsuit against alternative energy company U.S. Wind. The government arguing this current shutdown has limited its attorney's ability to respond to the suit. U.S. Wind opposed the motion, saying that the government could take advantage of the delay and undermine the court's ability to weigh in on the project's approval first. In Milton tonight, the future makeup of the town council could change. So it's getting a look at. Mayor John Collier and the 6 council members are expected to review a presentation on creating town council districts. Now, most southern Delaware communities, they do not have this type of structure. Milford is an exception. They do have 4 wards. A vote on districts could happen at the 6:30 p.m. Milton Town Council meeting. New this morning, the fall season, it's a great time of year to experience the great outdoors. And First Alert meteorologist Bob Trahey shows us the McCabe Preserve and why now is the time for bird watching.
As the weather cools down, bird migration begins. The McCabe Preserve outside of Milton is where many bird watchers go to see the shorebirds and songbirds alike move to their next destination.
McCabe Preserve is a local birding hotspot and a great place to come observe fall migration. We have a high diversity of bird species that utilize this preserve because we have a lot of different habitat types occurring here.
The preserve says that over 100 bird species have been observed along its 143 acres.
We have mature upland forest. We also have mature bottomland forest. We have meadow habitat, early successional habitat, and the preserve also borders the Broadkill River, which makes this a great stopover place for birds. We get tons of herons and egrets, different ducks and geese are always utilizing this area. Warblers in the summer, especially prothonotary warblers, love to be along the edges of the scrubby Broadkill.
Approximately 1 mile of the Broadkill River borders the preserve, making it a popular hotspot for canoers and kayakers too. The only time the Conservancy is closed to the public is during deer hunting season on certain days. In Milton, I'm Bob Trahey, CoastTV News.
The checklist of the birds that can be seen at the preserve, you can look at that now at the article on CoastTV.com. This just in, slowing down in Selbyville. Town Council is meeting today to discuss a number of issues, and one of those is speed limits. According to the agenda, town officials will discuss and consider setting the speed limit for all developments, and this is taking place tonight at 6 at the Selbyville Town Hall. Tomorrow marks 2 years since the war in Gaza began. Analysts say an end could be within reach as ceasefire talks begin in Egypt today. Negotiators are discussing President Donald Trump's 20-point roadmap for peace. This calls for an immediate end to the war and then gives Hamas 72 hours to release all Israeli hostages. After that, it has Israel set free 250 prisoners and 1,700 detainees. The plan also involves Israel's eventual withdrawal from Gaza. For the first time, Israeli leaders are publicly agreeing to that idea.
There's a lot of will on every party to try and get a deal this week.
Pressure to end the conflict is growing after Israel tried to assassinate a Hamas ceasefire delegation in Qatar. A UN inquiry says Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. We still have a lot more news to get to. Coming up, wagging for water for how Dewey Beach is helping its small dogs get the hydration they need. Also, Bo beats the Birds. The second half collapsed to Denver's Bo Nix, and the Eagles' first loss of the season. And walk for Alzheimer's advocacy. We'll tell you how the cause hits close to home for people on Delmarva. Stay with us on Coast TV News Today.
Good Monday morning, Delmarva, as we take a live look into Ocean City. Doing pretty good there as far as fog is concerned. We're at 65 degrees there. Most of the areas of fog we're seeing are further inland. Most of Sussex County, Georgetown, we're down to 3/4 of a mile visibility there. Pretty dense fog there in and across portions of Dorchester County, so you certainly use caution at least through sunrise about 7, 8 o'clock this morning. We're at 52 in Redden, 62 Lewis, 54 Millsboro, and 51 in Salisbury. So beautiful weekend with temperatures in the upper 70s. We had low humidity. Doesn't get much better than that, thanks to high pressure. Now that high sliding off to our southeast, cold front well off to the west is going to be moving through on Wednesday. But aside from the fog this morning, we're going to see temperatures right up to near 80 degrees under wall-to-wall sunshine. We'll talk more about the rain coming in on Wednesday a little bit later on the full forecast. Matt.
Okay, Chris. More than 430 people filled Grove Park and Rehoboth Beach Saturday morning for the Walk to End Alzheimer's. Raising over $148,000 to support research, care, and advocacy. Among the hundreds who walked through Grove Park was Stephanie McDonough on her 23rd walk. She lost her husband and mother-in-law to Alzheimer's and says the walk is a way to keep fighting.
To me, it's wonderful to see this because people are fighting, every day, this devastating disease. So this gives us hope, and it gives us the money to continue the research that someday, like your children and I have great-grandchildren now, they will not have to fight this disease.
And the push for support isn't over. On November 8th, there is another walk. This one's at Salisbury City Park, and that one gets started at 10:30 with check-in at 9. Entering Week 5, the Eagles were only one of 2 teams left in the NFL with a perfect record and the only one in the NFC. The Birds were home on Sunday at the Field in South Philly, taking on the Denver Broncos, who started the day with a 2-2 record. We go midway in the second quarter. Jalen Hurts rolls, fires. There's Dallas Goedert for the touchdown. Then the Eagles take a 10-3 lead. We go to the third, and Hurts goes deep, 46 yards. Saquon Barkley, all is right for the Birds, leading 17-3, but here come the Broncos. Midway in the fourth, Bo Nix to Evan Engram over the middle. He scrambles, gets in for the touchdown. The Eagles are only up 1. Denver goes for 2. And here we have Tony Franklin. He gets into the end zone for the conversion. The Broncos take the lead. They would add a field goal. That leaves us with the Eagles' last chance. Hurts' pass is batted away in the end zone. First loss of the season for the Eagles. The 21-17 loss puts the Birds at 4-1. They have a Thursday night game coming up this week at the Giants. In Los Angeles, Jaden Daniels back in at QB1 for Washington. They scored 27 unanswered points in defeating the Chargers 27-10. The Burgundy and Gold moved to 3-2 on the season, and they return home a week from tonight to take on the Bears. No Lamar Jackson for the Ravens. Plenty of C.J. Stroud for the Texans. He threw 4 touchdown passes at the stadium and a rout over the Ravens. The 44-10 loss puts the Ravens at 1-4 in the season, and they are fading fast in the AFC North. Coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network, 5:30, we have Indian River hosting Salisbury Christian in girls volleyball, and then you can catch the final score at 10:30. On DSM Plus, along with that volleyball game. At 4 o'clock, you can watch Sussex Central and Bennett in field hockey. 5:30, Pocomoke and Crisfield battle it out in boys soccer. Delmar takes on Cesar Rodney, also in boys soccer. Music and movie news now. We have David Daniel with today's Hollywood Minute.
K-pop Demon Hunters is having more than a moment. The soundtrack for the smash hit Netflix animated film returned to the top of the Billboard 200 album chart, beating out the debuts of new albums by Mariah Carey and Doja Cat, among others. We'll see how it fares next week when Taylor Swift's new disc hits the charts.
The real horror to this is that it's realistic.
The new Resident Evil has added cast members. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Kaylee Reese from True Detective Night Country has signed on for the horror franchise reboot, as has Zach Cherry from Severance. Weapons writer-director Zach Kreger is helming the reboot, which begins filming this month and is due in theaters next September.
In a place outside time lies a mystical realm.
You can revisit that realm as The Dark Crystal returns to theaters. The iconic live-action fantasy is getting a re-release in honor of the Jim Henson Company's 70th anniversary. Screenings are October 12th and 13th. Info and tickets at fathomentertainment.com. Seeking the great conjunction in Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Rough week? You can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. Sign up now for free at coasttv.com/signup and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Fridays.
Well, we're dealing with some patchy fog across portions of Delmarva this morning, but that will burn off over the next few hours. Expect plenty of sunshine late morning through your afternoon and an absolutely gorgeous day with highs around 80 degrees. I am tracking rain and then a big late week cool down. My full first alert forecast right after the break.
We're hitting 5:49 on this Monday morning, and we're still seeing fog in Salisbury. Let's take out the live look there. You can see the fog that they're dealing with. And Chris, as we've been tracking the cameras that we have access to in the morning, we're seeing more of the fog inland as opposed to our coastal areas.
Yeah, it's more of that radiational fog. It forms at the surface and then pushes up into the air. So you'll often see that around the roadways across the area. So certainly use caution through the morning. This will be burning off through about after 7, 8 o'clock once that sun rises. Cambridge, you see around about 0 miles there. Seeing that fog in and across Dorchester County, southwestern Sussex County. And you could see that fog there from our cam here in Salisbury where it's 50 degrees. Winds are calm, skies are clear, so that is the ample conditions for that fog to form. We're at 51, Long Neck 62, Lewis 52, Dagsboro 64 in Ocean City. There's those calm winds. Now humidity levels are going to be rising through the day today, especially into Tuesday. They'll peak, and then once that cold front comes through, going to be very cool, in fact chilly by the end of the week, as you'll see here momentarily. High pressure in full control of our weather over the weekend, and we're going to continue that sunshine through the day today. You can see that big ridge across the east. Here's the cold front extending across portions of Iowa as well as Wisconsin, and that's going to be impacting us on Wednesday. Highs today, 80 Lewis, 81 Georgetown, 79 Seaford. We'll see 78 in Easton, 81 in Cambridge, 80 Salisbury, and 79 in Snow Hill. So those rain chances ramp up late wet Tuesday night through Wednesday, and then we could be dealing with a coastal storm late Saturday through Monday that could give us a good soaking of rain. So there's the clear skies through the afternoon today. Tonight, clear skies again. We could see, again, some patchy fog in and across the area early Tuesday morning ahead of another mostly sunny day. Now, clouds will increase Tuesday evening ahead of that front, and expect rain to develop by Wednesday morning, and that rain could be heavy at times through the late part of your morning on Wednesday through the afternoon. Not expecting anything severe, not expecting any type of flash flooding, but you can see the rain tapers off through the afternoon and into the evening, but it's going to be a quick hitter. Quick inch to maybe an inch and a half of rain. Could see some locally higher amounts there, but on average, an inch of rain is expected. High pressure builds in late week behind the front. High is only in the low to mid 60s. Now, how strong is that high and where it's positioned is going to be key heading into the weekend. We're going to see an area of low pressure develop along the Carolinas, and that coastal low is going to swing northward. How strong is this storm? How much moisture do we see? And the exact track remain to be seen. We'll iron those details out over the week. 81 degrees this afternoon, a sunny, warm day. We're at 57 overnight under clear skies, and our last warm day of the week will be Tuesday ahead of that cold front that brings rain that could be heavy at times, especially through the morning and into the early part of the afternoon. We clear out. Look at those morning lows by Friday morning, low to mid 40s. Temperatures holding in the low to mid 60s by Thursday, and then watching that threat of some rain over the weekend with that coastal low Saturday into Sunday. Matt.
Thank you, Chris. Dewey is going to the dogs, and that's in a good way. The town says it realized its dog water fountain was a little too small for small dogs. So Dewey's maintenance supervisor created a step stool so all dogs can hydrate. 5:52 this morning, and time to check in with our coastal pet of the day. And today's coastal pet is enjoying the temperatures. Look at this video here. That's Esmeralda. You can see she is loving the chilly morning walks in her stroller. Esmeralda was submitted to us by Tammy in Millsboro. And we want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can scan that QR code at the top of your screen. You see that there? You scan that, you can get your friends to us, and then you can watch weekdays from 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature. A clear majority of Americans, we're talking roughly 80%, support the extension of Enhanced Affordable Care Act premium subsidies. Now, according to a poll from the nonpartisan Healthcare Policy Research Group, KFF, that includes 92% of Democrats and 82% of independents, but it also has the backing of 59% of Republicans and 57% of people who consider themselves backers of the Make America Great Again movement. A new scientific analysis suggests adopting a diet that's good for the planet could feed the world by 2050. It's using advanced modeling methods. The report found more than 9 billion people could eat nutritiously and equitably in the decades to come if they adopted a planet-friendly diet. It's similar to the Mediterranean diet, focuses on fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, and also a moderate amount of meat and dairy. Right now, it's 5:56 on this Monday morning. We got a quick look at your forecast before you head out the door. And for those people who are inland, Chris, it's a bit of a foggy start. They're going to have to deal with this till about sunrise.
Yeah, exactly. Use some caution out there heading out to school and work, dealing with that patchy fog, primarily southwestern Sussex County and portions of Dorchester County. So that'll be with us at least through about 7, 8 o'clock. Temperature around 61 by around 9, and a gorgeous afternoon. Wall-to-wall sunshine. We get those temperatures right back up into the upper 70s to right around 81 degrees. Tonight could see some more patchy fog by early Tuesday. Most of our Tuesday is very nice as well. Clouds increase late. Showers, that and rain could be heavy at times Wednesday morning through Wednesday afternoon. And some of the coolest air so far this fall arrives Thursday through Friday. Highs only in the low to mid 60s, and then watching the weekend pretty closely, we could be dealing with a coastal low that could give us a good bit of rain late Saturday through Monday. But we'll talk more about that later on in the week. Matt.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Coming up in our next hour, drama decision. The latest in Rehoboth Beach's effort to keep its popular Clear Space Theater in the city. That and more when we continue with Coast TV News Today.